Not record. We're not recording. The audio is not even on until right now. I am currently getting things ready behind the scenes, just in case if anyone is waiting. Hi, Denisha. How are you doing today? We definitely have a lot to go over. Um, there has been some interesting drama developments in the world of professional wrestling, but not even like, main news and stuff like that. Um, oh man, the negativity of social media, man. The negativity of social media. Um, I will turn on my camera in a little bit. Um, I just want to put it everywhere that I am live. Um, I think I mainly got to put it everywhere, almost everywhere. Um, I do not like when my phone autocorrects live to love. I do not know where that has happened at all. Um, how is my thumbnail? I usually believe that I do the best thumbnails. Um, so let me know how is the thumbnail while I get stuff ready behind the scenes. Um, Let me go back into YouTube really, really quickly for that. On WWE and AAA, we're gonna get into that as well. We're gonna get into that as well. I have like a lot of topics to get through. Some of the topics are off the top of my head. Um, Others are like I want to bring attention to, which I don't normally. I mean, I think I do anyway, but I pick when I want to bring attention to something, and there's something that we need to have a conversation about. Um, why is this? Why is the internet acting up on my phone? Um, Okay, so for the time being, I put the link everywhere where I'm live. If anybody out there is passing by or in the chat, I don't know, let your followers know that I'm live. I haven't been live on YouTube in a while. I have been using Substack live stream in order to do my lives, but that's just like neither here nor there. Um, I am going to have my headphones connected um just so that way like it could be ready because we're gonna be watching some interviews. I think I'll start off with like the easy questions of what do I think about like AAA and whatnot, um and stuff. I don't can Oh, isn't it? My headphones are not on. Okay, now it's on. Like, can you like Bluetooth? Come on, buddy. Okay, good. Cool. Yep, it's on Twitter that you're live. Yeah, I put it into Discord. Um, that's why I said that I put it everywhere. I did the whole, at everyone. I should have probably like prepped you guys last night that I was gonna do a live stream. Um, just because like I miss doing a live stream, but now I could turn on the camera. Oh, what? Oops, wrong thing. I mean, I could turn on the eye of the camera. Yeah. So, yep. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Square Circle Podcast, a live version of the Square Circle Podcast. I am your host, Marie Shadows, and we have a lot of things to basically talk about. Normally, like I said, I would do this via Substack, marieshadows.substack.com, where basically I would go live there to my readers. If you are not signed up to the newsletter, please sign up to the newsletter. It is completely free. The only thing that is a paywall, because like there's also a discussion on Twitter about paywall this and paywall not this, is if I tend to do something a little bit extra, meaning like reacting to Stephanie's Places, reacting to Legends of Future Greats. And I do want to say, I thank you guys for all of your patience, because it is just me, myself, and I with one laptop that I'm sharing to do two different types of content, one for gaming content and the other one for wrestling content. So I am just sharing my laptop. I could always just use my phone for like all this stuff, but it does get kind of like wonky to use your phone to react to videos and then edit and all that kind of stuff. And that's, a little bit more complicated when it really doesn't need to be, when my laptop can handle it. But I just wanted to put that out there. I'm still trying to find a way to get another laptop or another piece of equipment to upgrade and stuff. That's why I do love the idea that you guys just come here, hang out, we talk wrestling, we talk this, we talk that. And if you do want to help out, there's ways to do that. But for the time being, like I said, let me back up a little bit. The Square Circle podcast on the Substack newsletter is completely free. There is a lot of free content out on there. There's a lot of free content. I do know that wrestling fans love free content. You know, and if you love free content, sign up at marieshadows.substack.com. So Substack has given me the opportunity to live stream to my readers that are there, and they get a live stream of me talking about wrestling news and stuff like that. I did that a little bit with New Japan Pro Wrestling and how they're on a downward spiral. I did that talking about The Rock wearing the NJPW shirt. I did that talking about like Jeff Cobb and everything. And by the way, we'll get to Jeff Cobb because there is some United Empire drama. And again, I have been calling all of this out. Your favorite New Japan Pro Wrestling podcasters don't do this shit. All they do is like instigate fantasy book and want to be like, oh, this isn't like real, like nothing is really happening. But it's like everything is happening in real time, the same way that you know, I guess I could apply this like WWE and stuff like that, and WrestleMania and The Rock not showing up. I will be answering questions in the chat, so if you have any questions about any of the topics or anything that you want me to answer, put them in the chat. If you are here, make sure you hit that like button. The more likes that this video live stream gets, the more that this will go out into the atmosphere of YouTube. And what that means is that we could get more like-minded people and more like-minded fans into the chat with us and have a wonderful conversation. So I really thank you for that. What else is there? There's the drama, there's WrestleMania, there's a little bit of WWE Raw, there's AAA. And we're going to be watching some interviews because I want to really hear what The Rock has to say in full about not being at WrestleMania 41 and give my thoughts on that. I also just had lunch, so bear with me as well. But yeah, I put all my links everywhere. Make sure to hit that follow button, that subscribe button. If you want, throw in some super chats. Get a membership if you want to get a membership to support the Square Circle podcast and everything that I do. And also, if I'm not streaming, you guys also have the ability to send some thanks. I do want to shout out, well, I don't even know if they want to shout out, but somebody in the community of the Square Circle podcast did decide to send over a super chat to a video that was already done, a VOD. And you guys have the opportunity to do that as well. Videos that are under the partner program get that little thanks with the number sign. You guys can click on that and, you know, send some, you know, money my way for like encouragement and stuff like that for everything that I do. Everything that I do is original independent wrestling content creation. And we try to do it to the best of our ability here. And when I say we, I mean me and my whole entire community and stuff like that. Because, you know, while it is me creating all this, talking about this, and you guys are listening to me, it is also the fans that are helping me, you know, get to places and achieve stuff like this. Okay, let's get into the topics. Just really quickly on AAA. When I heard that the news broke about WWE acquiring AAA, it tells you a lot that most people in WWE now want to keep information like this like very close to each other, and like nobody really knows anything, and no one is feeding the dirt sheets anything, because if we can all agree that the dirt sheets basically are the toxic people of the internet wrestling community. They are the gatekeepers. They are the ones that will dox you. They are the ones that will be like, I need you to call me right now so you can tell me everything that you dislike about me. And it's like, guys, no one knows you personally, but that does not mean that you get to be acting a fool on the internet towards people just because it's the internet. Because you never know what may happen outside of the internet and outside of the bubble. And it's sort of like, you know, I don't understand why they put themselves in such really bad, precarious positions because, you know, one person that you might be yelling at on the internet, it may not be, the same timid person that you're going to go and yell at the next person. Like, no, like we're all individuals. We all like have feelings and emotions and all this kind of stuff. And you don't know what one person can do versus the other person that won't do anything about it. But the more time that, you want to, talk shit and act all big and bad, days are coming. Who knows? But for some reason, WWE is, like I said, keeping these new stuff very, very close to each other. And that's a very good thing, that we can weed out all of the, gossip people, because that's all they do is gossip. They don't really contribute anything positive to the wrestling community. You might think so because they end up doing charities, but anybody could do a charity, and that doesn't mean that you're a good person, just so you know. That's definitely like what I believe, what I can see in real time, that, like I said, if you happen to do charities, that doesn't necessarily make you a good person. You don't have to put out the good things that you do to be like, oh my God, let me get that social currency. Let me get that high five. No, you don't need to. You could be a good person without putting that on the internet. Nobody needs to know your life like 24/7. People are hater on Rock, as tell the truth. People think Rock is selfish when we're complaining about last year about taking Cody's spot, that he's not selfish. He wanted the spotlight on Cena. I saw that. That's why we're gonna get into it in a little bit. Because I look at it a different way. Because it's one of those things of like, I get it. But yeah, the AAA thing, I think it's very good business because, for the past like years, AAA has been like very down and everything, even though like they sell tickets and whatnot. And the only person that I can remember from AAA, even though a lot of people have passed like AAA and worked for AAA, but now they're in like different promotions and stuff like that. But the one constant guy that is over in AAA is Sam Adonis. And Sam Adonis is the brother to Corey Graves. And Sam Adonis over there is treated like a god. So I am happy that we have this acquirement or this partnership, however it is worded, with AAA. And it's going to be kind of interesting to see what happens going forward with AAA and how big they can get. A lot of people on the internet, this whole entire talking about the people on the internet, the young people on the internet, misery loves company. If you're not miserable like them, you're not in the in circle, but it's okay. You don't have to be miserable. You don't have to like the idea of AAA being part of WWE, but at the same time, it happened. It's a business decision, and you have to understand that businesses are going to do what is right for businesses. Businesses are not going to do what's right for what and how you complain on Twitter in a bubble that don't really know who you are, that don't care who you are, and quite frankly, you're not going to be their friend. You are not going to get invited to the house and be like, oh, come over for the cookout. You're not going to be that person for like WWE to like listen to you and be like, how dare you buy up AAA and like this is a monopoly and blah, blah, blah. When in fact, it's helping out AAA because, while Mexican wrestling is very popular and stuff like that, again, ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. We talk more about CMLL versus AAA, which tells you something on like the scale of the promotions. We talk about that more. CMML has the partnership and relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling, with AEW and MLW. AAA over here is sort of like, floating around, while AAA is a very powerful like acronym in terms of like professional wrestling and lucha libre. I just basically, case in point of that, CMLL is taking over like 3 different promotions, while AAA over here is like, we used to be the top dog, but now we're the top dog. we're with WWE. It's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's a business decision. Because, who knows? Maybe AAA would have fallen and then, we wouldn't have AAA anymore, but then WWE came back. And I am going to pause right there. I'm going to be right back very, very, very quickly. And if anybody has any questions, leave them in the chat and I will answer them. But give me one moment. Okay. You wish that New Japan would do the same with AAA? Maybe, man. Maybe if like, if The Rock was talking, who knows? Maybe. Anyway, so yeah, AAA and WWE are now in a working relationship and or partnership, however it is, and that's it. Now, for all of the Twitter users on Twitter, man, why did you guys come back? Why? Why do we have to get an influx of people that don't want to stand on their convictions, that don't want to stand on, what they say, what they're going to do? If you're going to leave a site like Twitter and go over to Blue Cries or go over to some other, website, like stay over there, because the influx of all of the young kids that came back or just resurfaced, or it's just that my mutuals end up, retweeting and talking about the stupid brain dead takes that all these young kids have, as if like life is suddenly new to them, as if, wrestling is suddenly new to them. And it's like, you guys talk as if you know, but you don't know. And you don't have enough life experience to be like a matter of fact kind of speaking on Twitter. And this is why sometimes people end up, oh, shit. Lucy, thank you so much for becoming a new member. Thank you. Welcome to the Day One-ish Club. Thank you. I appreciate you, Lucy. Thank you for becoming a member. Welcome to the stream, by the way. So, like I was saying, that this is really directed towards all of the young people in, on Twitter that end up, talking out their ass and showing their ass. And if you are between the ages of like 18 to like really early 20s, maybe 25, I am going to just say this like directly to you for like that demographic. Please stop being an activist 24/7 when it comes to professional wrestling. You are ruining the experience for everybody else. You do not need to be a social activist 24/7. The world is not burning right now. You're still alive. You can still talk your shit. You can still show your ass, and you're still here. You're still eating. You have a roof over your head. You're able to go out. You're able to interact. The world is not burning, and we don't need any more activists in professional wrestling. We really don't. And that might make me enemy number one, which, it eventually had to be said, because it is getting kind of annoying where every other post is like, this such and such is, insert buzzword here. And it's like, no, you don't know anything. You don't know any life experience. Lucy, I will try my best to answer your question. Just give me a second. So basically, because one of the things that like gets brought up is the fact of like, people had a problem with Pat McAfee telling Raquel Rodriguez to speak English to him, and people got upset at that because they want to be mad at something. But for someone like me that's half Puerto Rican, I've had experiences in my life. That means that I go outside, I walk around, I get some sun on me, working in the past and stuff like that, and just experiencing and meeting people. Other Spanish people will come up to me and start talking to me in Spanish because they can tell that I am a type of Spanish, but they don't really know what Spanish I am yet. But when they start talking to me in Spanish, I honestly do not know half the words that they say. I could pick out maybe like one or two, but my default language, like everybody else in the country, is English. And if you happen to speak Spanish, that's like, awesome. That's great. However, for us to communicate and for other people that can communicate in English, just communicate in English. It wasn't like Pat McAfee was trying to be, really bad and mean towards Raquel. It's just that, he can help her more to try to understand more if she just spoke to him or yell at him in English, and then he could relay back like, this is why, blah 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 blah. But if she's just talking in Spanish, it's gonna be like, I don't know what you said, like, I'm so sorry, like, can you just say that in English or just help me out with some broken English? And this is what happens in real life. It happens all the time. You guys on the internet who are like 18 to like 25 want to get mad at every little thing and want to be like, oh my God, the world is burning, and never realize that your friend and your family members have probably come across people in real life that go up to them and start speaking in the language that they think that the person is, because that's how they feel comfortable, which there is no right or wrong to this at all. It's just, if you feel comfortable talking in Spanish, that's great. My response is, I'm sorry, I don't understand. I don't know Spanish like that. And for people to get upset on the internet is because they know that the negativity is the currency of like, I need the attention more than actually caring about the causes that they want to bring up 24/7 around the clock when it pertains to wrestling. We don't need that in wrestling. What we need in wrestling is a little bit of kayfabe, a little bit of like good banter back and forth, and not know like, oh my God, woe is me, the world is burning down, when the world is not burning down. But they make it as if like the world is burning down. Again, if this makes me public enemy number one, so be it. But, somebody had to say it for all the young kids out there that, want to come back onto Twitter and be like, listen to my cause, when you don't give a shit about your own cause, or you think that you have a cause when you really don't have a cause, because life is too short to, want to correct everybody, impose what your agenda is on everybody and scoff at everybody, but then be like, oh no, but I'm the victim. But yeah, I just had to say that. Lucy asked, can you explain the difference between CMLL and AAA to someone who doesn't know about lucha? Like I said, I will try my best because, I don't watch CMML or AAA like that. The first thing that I wanted to mention was that, I think that they're probably two different ideologies. That, like, when I say ideologies, I mean in terms of like how they go about the different styles of lucha. Speaking about this out loud, and from like watching lucha matches, I feel like every lucha match has like the same thing where like the luchadors don't tag in. The luchadors do like a really crazy like tornado tag kind of match where like there are like no tags. But it's just different people with different you know ideas on how to run their company. I really do want to say it's not that big of a difference between the two. I do think that for CMLL, in my opinion, because we're getting a lot more CMLL guys. I like watching wrestlers, well, luchadors that are from CMLL. Like I said earlier, for AAA, the only person that I know is Sam Adonis, which is the brother to Corey Graves, and he does a phenomenal job, and he's treated, excuse me, and he's treated like a god over in AAA. It's just a quality. But I am really learning about Lucha as much as you guys are learning about Lucha, so we're doing it both together. But yeah, that's the best way that I can explain it. It's gonna be the same thing what we've always looked at. Maybe like Triple H, if like once we start seeing like the AAA wrestlers, maybe he'll tell them to like, hey, this would be a better way to be presented, or this would be a better move to do and stuff like that. Because it's gonna get crazy. It's gonna get crazy in a way, but a good crazy, a good crazy. Other than that, again, Lucy, thank you for becoming a member. I totally appreciate that. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, if you are just stopping by, or like, you're here lurking, hit that like button. More likes sends the live stream out into the atmosphere. And if you want to become a member, you can. If you want to send over some super chats, you can. Fantastic. And again, if I, become public enemy number one, because I want to tell you the truth rather than coddling you, and rather than like, anything else, it's okay. It's totally okay. The other topic that I want to move on to is the United Empire drama that we're having. And then we'll go into some WWE stuff. So, as you know, I have been covering New Japan Pro Wrestling ever since Jon Moxley became the IWGP champion, which, again, he is not my champion at all, or never was. And I have various videos on that. And I will always, talk the talk. Always do that. I will always be true to what I say and how I present it. And so, as we've seen over the last weeks, in a way, where wrestlers are leaving. We have Jeff Cobb that left on the 19th because it is for sure now that he is going to go to WWE. Which, that's fantastic for him, because for some reason New Japan Pro Wrestling was not going to give him the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship title when that guy has been there forever and he's a tank. And it's like, what? Why? And then to follow suit was Naito, of all people. Naito. I can understand if Naito was like, hey, I think it's time for me to retire because I want to go do something else. No, this was like, hey, we wish you good luck in your future endeavors. What? When Naito is like the most loyal person there is on the New Japan roster, like, you don't want to lose Naito. Like, that hurt. Bushi ends up, leaving as well. And, he decided to leave on his own, which is basically like, damn good. Like, that's a very interesting tactic. But Bushi really wasn't being used as well. I can't really tell you what Bushi's character was, to be honest, even though he wore a luchador mask and stuff. Like, he's a damn good wrestler, but as far as me telling you what kind of character he is, I really can't do that. Just know that he's Bushi. So that means that LIJ is down 2 members, and one of the members, being Naito, the leader, is no longer there. So what are they going to do? I have no idea. I only bring this up to set up everything because of the drama that unfolds with the United Empire. And I've said this before, that the United Empire needs to make a decision of whether they're going to stay together as a group or they're going to disband. I really do think that the United Empire should disband. Why does it sound weird saying the word? They should go their separate ways. Okay, that's a better idea. That's a better way of putting it. They should go their separate ways. Because if no one is going to step up to the plate to actually lead, then, they have to go their separate ways. If I just don't like the idea of like, oh, there's no leaders. You need a leader. The only other team that started with there's no leaders is, Judgment Day, and look how that turned out. Jeff Cobb is going to WWE, and New Japan is partnership with AEW, and that's why they won't give him the championships to Jeff Cobb. That could be a possibility, Denisha, but I just think in general, even before the partnership with AEW, Jeff Cobb was still in like limbo. Still in limbo, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Jeff Cobb ends up getting opportunities and stuff like that. But to give him the NJPW TV title that no one really cares about, even though I think that that's supposed to like at least give more subscriptions to NJPW World, but it really doesn't. And then he drops it to who did he drop it to? Whoever the fuck he dropped it to. And then go after the tag team titles, the world tag team titles. And then with his announcement on leaving, he obviously had to vacate it. So like, I don't think it was too much on AEW for that part, but I do think like it can, and it could have played a factor, but it started way before then. I still don't understand why he was in such, to me, a long program with Zack Sabre Jr. when I'm like, bro, you could just sit on him and win. Like, why are we doing this back and forth, this technical wrestling where it's like, Jeff Cobb could walk out, without breaking a sweat, but here comes Zack Sabre Jr. crawling on all fours as if like, oh my God, I'm dying. Like, this is why sometimes I just don't like Zack Sabre Jr., man. He's so inconsistent with things. And again, if people out there don't like what I just said, that's okay too. So let's look at this drama, right? Because it involves Jeff Cobb, TJP, and TJP's wife, who somehow, or I don't know about somehow, but for some reason, blocked me on Twitter when I never had an interaction with her. I don't even remember having an interaction with her. And if it's because like I am very outspoken in a way, the way that like I look at things can be maybe confrontational to people, because I know I have, some of my personality is very confrontational. I just grew up in New York City. That's just like how I am. But for the most part, people can talk to me if you want to. But I've never interacted with her, so I don't know what her problem is. And I found it kind of interesting that she will block me, but no harm done really. But to go after Jeff Cobb the way that she did, when she is the third party and she is not even part of New Japan Pro Wrestling, and she's not even part of the United Empire as like TJP's valet, don't say shit to Jeff Cobb. Don't talk to Jeff Cobb the way that you did. I'm on Jeff Cobb's side, which maybe I probably should not have said. But either way, like, it would have been very obvious. Like, you don't talk to people the way that you talk to people like this. You don't go unhinged and 0 to 100 the way that you talk to people like this, even if, like, you know, you want to reveal shit. Like, it sounded like, I should say, as if like Jeff Cobb did some heinous shit to the Perkins family and, you know, she went off. And it's like, I don't think he did anything wrong to you guys. But I will say this also, like, I'm a fan of TJP because of his wrestling ability and his wrestling skills. And the fact that if he ever comes back to MLW, watching his matches are really, really fun. So I like the wrestler. If he happens to hear this and gets upset, it's, you know, again, not a personal thing, but, you know, it is some drama that unfolded that, like, I don't even like that it unfolded with the United Empire. Like, that should have just been, Jeff Cobb can, like, tweet out whatever he wants. I get it. People could tweet out whatever they want, but, like, move along. He said a farewell to certain people and made the tweet about certain people and left somebody out. No big deal. You know, no big deal. Especially when, like, it's confirmed now that TJP is doing the freelance route. So if TJP is doing the freelance route for the United Empire and for New Japan Pro Wrestling, where's the captain? Because he labeled himself as the captain of United Empire, that he's steering the ship. He's the captain. But if you are now confirming that you're going to be freelancing due to Jeff Cobb and his actions, because you also have to look out for your family, you just freaking left the United Empire. You left them fucking sinking. Everybody in that group has been left sinking, and I hate it because I believed in the United Empire. The United Empire was going to be really, really big, but because of egos and because of people that want to be bigger than others, while some people are like, yo, we should be a fucking team, even though, like, you know, most of them are probably like friends, but the idea of that, like, nobody could get this right when this could have been the really big team aside from Bullet Club is beyond me. And it's like, this is why you need a leader to be like, hey, we can't do this because of X, Y, and Z. Or you can do that, but then this may happen and that may happen, but this isn't going to be best for all of us as a team effort, rather than just a, you know, a one person effort. And that's how it felt like after, like, more so after Osprey left, Aussie Open left, and that was selfish on their part. And then Osprey just doesn't know any better. And after Osprey left, it was all downhill from there. All downhill. And we haven't even seen Gideon Gray. I've seen him pop up once on my timeline, and I'm like, oh shit, you know, you're still here. Go help save the United Empire. But New Japan is not calling him back. So I don't know. It's just really sad that a team called the United Empire is falling before our eyes, and they're still going to try to make it, you know, worthwhile and stand on these weak ass legs right now. Because how do you add Templario to United Empire when Templario is part of CMLL and is a junior, and you're not replacing your heavyweight? Jeff Cobb is leaving. TJP gets to be freelance, so technically leaving. Because most likely New Japan is not going to be like, yo, come back over here. You have Akira. How do you do that to Akira? How do you do that to Akira Francesco? That, oh my God, I feel so bad for Akira. I just thought about that. Like, TJP is going to be freelance. And that means that his buddy, you know, Akira is going to just be there. And there goes Catch 2-2 as a tag team. How the fuck do you just leave your tag team partner there when Catch 2-2 reignited the junior division of New Japan Pro Wrestling? This is what I mean about, like, egos, bad decisions, and, you know, like I said, no wrestling company is ever going to be perfect. No wrestler is ever going to be perfect. But shit, nobody can, like, stay the course for a fucking story and stay together for kayfabe and stay together because it's a team. If you didn't want to be part of the team, then you should have never joined. And that's a general statement to, like, anybody. not to anyone specific. That's a general statement to, anybody that's listening. If you never wanted to be part of a team because you knew that you were going to be leaving or wanting to be freelance, like 2 years in, don't join a fucking team. You have to be a team like Bullet Club, where everybody in Bullet Club have, the motto down. When I say motto, I mean like bring bodies or bring gold, that David Finley has said, or like, you're all there for each other. Why do you think House of Torture is never really going to break up? Because House of Torture, like, they stick together. Anyway, back to United Empire thing, because I'm now realizing some like new ass shit that I didn't think about before. Yeah. How do you add more juniors when your heavyweights are going? When you're not going to have heavyweights? The only heavyweight that's there is the Great Khan, and I do not think that Callum Newman should be bulking up to become a heavyweight, because his body is not going to get used to it, and because he is the Prince of Pace, which I really do hate that moniker. He's just the Flash. Okay, just call him Callum the Flash Newman, even though like the Flash is probably like copyrighted. But for Callum to be bulking up, that's a very bad thing. Especially, it's going to affect his speed. It's going to affect the way that he moves in the ring, and he moves like, a junior. He moves like a luchador. His body is not used to all that extra weight on him. And it's going to take a while for him to like form into the muscle that he wants to get. So I don't think it's right for him to move up to heavyweight just yet, because he would have to do it gradually and slowly, so that way his body could get used to it. If he needs to adjust to still become the Prince of Pace, then that's what he needs to do. But if he's just going to go from 0 to 100 to try to get there, no, it's not going to work. It really isn't. It's going to hinder him more than anything else. Other than that, Hinare is basically, out because of his knee injury that he got. And he's doing good. He's recovering. That's what I can say personally. I'll check in on him a little bit later today and see what's up. Just so that way, I could just check in. By the way, I like to do that with all of my wrestler friends. If they ever get hurt, if they ever like going through something, I'll be like, yo, what's up? Just so that I could be like, yo, you good? Just one of those things. But I really don't do it for like clout or anything like that, or I don't really ask for anything in return. It's just like, hey, you good? Because I care about the wrestlers. I care about the industry and how it is. I care about, where people are at, because I just love wrestling. Anyway, the Great Khan is still considered a heavyweight, and everybody else is a junior now. You have the other guy. What's his name? Jay? You have Jay, like Super Jay, who's also a junior weight. So it's like, what are we doing? Disband the United Empire. It's not the United Empire anymore. I wonder if Bullet Club could return in WWE with Finn Balor if he's kicked out of Judgment Day. Would like is it happen for probably New Day to get or New War to get started with a new storyline in WWE? My thought on that is I hope so. Okay, so going back to The Rock wearing the T-shirt of New Japan, he could be making some deals. He could be talking to people. All you have to do is just talk to the one person in New Japan management that decided to get the copyright for Bullet Club, so that way it could be theirs and they can make all the money off of it. All he has to do is just talk to that one person, convince them, give them a lot of money, and get the Bullet Club name. Because over in Japan, the way that you're able to get permission and access to like copyright stuff, or if you ever want to go buy a house out there, like you have to go track down the owner, It's not like here in America where like, we have our system a little bit different when it comes to like house hunting, but over in Japan, you have to really go find the person that you are looking for whatever you want to do. So if you so like I said, if you want to go get permission for something, to use it for something, you have to go track that person down. So I mean, The Rock could go track down the person that decided to copyright the Bullet Club name, and then, get it like that and buy it off of them. Who knows? But that could be a thing. But that would be very, very nice that, we get the Bullet Club name. Because then, you could have Finn, you could have the original guys, not Gallows and Anderson, even though they're part of it, but you could get Tama and Loa. Because, once Tama left, that was the soul of Bullet Club leaving. You could add some guys in there. You could add Hikuleo. You could add like a lot of people in there, and they could rival they could rival it. Yeah, they can rival the Bloodline. They could do that. Okay, so let's go back to this United Empire drama and talk about it in full, because that is what we're going to be doing. Hold on. Because I don't like when other people want to bully other people for no reason at all. It makes no sense to try to do that when someone is on their way out and you are the third party, but you want to be like, I'm important. And it's like, nobody knows who you are. Nobody even knows that you're a wrestler and stuff like that. She had an OnlyFans, but doesn't do the OnlyFans anymore. And it's like, you want to be so mean and weird to Jeff Cobb. I don't understand. Actually, no, that's not. I think I can, yeah. There we go. And I'm going to let you guys know right now that it is going to be very, very inappropriate. There's just some inappropriate things that end up getting said on her part. Not even Jeff Cobb's part, on her part. So, apologies in advance. It's going to get, so I guess, even though I really don't like trigger warnings, but trigger warning. So, oops, hold on. I didn't even switch it over. So the first one we're going to read is obviously the main Jeff Cobb tweet before he goes, which says, when Will Ospreay left, everyone thought we were dead in the water. You kind of were. I'm just going to say it. You kind of were. But we pushed forward. Now I'm leaving, and I know the Empire is in good hands with the Great O'Khan and Prince of Pace leading the way. Francesco Akira. I'm so sorry, Akira. Getting ready to set fire to the junior division, teaching Templario along the way, and Super J Cup, the guy Super J, like I was talking about, has to change his name or he will be under my shadow. And with Hinari eventually returning healthily, I am not worried about them at all. So simple, right? It's not even that big of a deal. Like, if I was part of the team or not part of the team and I saw it, I'd be like, okay, cool. He put up a tweet. Oh my God, it's not the end of the world. To which we're going in order, by the way. We're going in order. Let me see if it switched. Did it switch? No, it didn't switch. What happens if I were to... If I go this way? Okay. Fine. Okay. So this is the next one where, like, somebody said, don't forget TJP captioning the ship to glory. Just a little laughing emoji. just a little laughing emoji, you know. Jeff Cobb has all the right to laugh. He really does. He has all the right in the world to laugh. Like, come on. That's like saying you can't laugh at a joke because of like XYZ. I don't know, but you know. So we'll get into the TJP stuff before we get into the wife stuff. Like I said, nothing against TJP. It's just this drama just did not need to happen on the timeline, but I'm only calling it out because of his wife going from 0 to 100 and unhinged. And I'm like, no, we're not going to be cursing out other people that you have no really relationship with or affiliation with, and you're not even part of the company or even part of the team. It's like sometimes you do have to know your place. You do. If she was actively involved with the United Empire, like I said earlier, if she was like the valet to TJP to come out to enhance maybe the Aswang character, or to just be a support system for the United Empire for all the guys, and she was working New Japan Pro Wrestling, then she could say whatever she wants, because obviously she knows the behind the scenes. But if you're not working there, you don't know the behind the scenes. You just know from the source of like who tells you, which is your husband, and you get it like that. So, you know, it's one of those things of like, hey, this doesn't really involve you. But anyway, to which TJP responds to Jeff Cobb with, are you ever happy? The one-sided passive aggressiveness is odd, man, especially towards someone who unconditionally looked past it and supported you like a brother. Now, I will say this. You can support whoever you want as a brother or a sister, or like, you know, a mentor or something like that. That doesn't mean that like everything is all peachy. That doesn't mean that like everything is on the same like playing field. You know, we're all individuals. I get that you supported him like a brother, but there's still probably some little things that come off as like, you know, either funny or he doesn't take you serious, or I should say, you know, a person doesn't take you serious, rather than like Jeff Cobb. But the idea of like, you know, just because you support somebody like a brother doesn't mean like they see you as that in return. It's the same way of like, you know, the first thing that pops into my head of like when people confess, you know, their love to somebody and they're like, oh, I've always liked you. You know, I even love you. Can we take it to the next step? And that person is like, I don't feel the same way. So, you know, it's the same thing here of like, you could support Jeff Cobb all you want as a brother. If it's not like reciprocated, he's not going to feel the same, you know? And to put that out there as if like that's supposed to be, you know, what is it? I don't want to say cushion. It's not the cushion. But to put that out there as if like that's supposed to mean something, it really doesn't, you know? Let me see what happens if I were to... Okay, so we'll go on to the next one. If that's not the right one, is it? No, it's not the right one. This is the right one. Hold on. I don't know which one's the right one. What's this? Oh, oops. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Springtime, man. To which Jeff Cobb basically responds with, so FYI, I posted for people who are on the group picture, and when Hinari returns, you have publicly and privately stated you are done with New Japan and freelance. So what would you like me to think? Jeff Cobb is not wrong. I spent like a good couple minutes explaining that about like if you're going to be, you know, on this freelance journey, you're leaving the United Empire. Like, why would you even say that if like, you know, you may not think so, or you think that people are not gonna pay attention and notice when the internet and everything is at our fingertips. Jeff Cobb goes on to say, since we are on the topic and your wife wants to air things that are already public knowledge and some that I have only seemed to have mentioned to you. She has a very angry Twitter page where she is bashing me, but oh well, crowns up, laugh out loud, which is true. She went on like a bashing spree for no freaking reason at all. No reason at all. And then this is TJP's response with, I just think it's odd that you have spent a year with these weird one-sided passive aggressiveness things towards me. And it's like, even though TJP said that they like sat down to talk about this, like before this, it still feels like nothing got done or not a true conversation was had because, you know, I would think that Jeff Cobb would be like the one to tell you straight up, even in like a sarcastic, jokey kind of tone. But you should be able to get the hint about certain things that he may or may not like about someone's character, or how they parade around to being like, oh, I'm the captain, listen to me kind of deal and stuff like that. And it's like, you know, he said all this, but you're not really going to address your wife going 0 to 100 on Jeff Cobb. Like what? So now we're going to get into the wife stuff. So heads up. Do I know which one I want to start with? No, but we'll start with this one. Let me just go back this way. We will start with this one. So this one, like I said before, she blocked me. I have no idea why she blocked me, but it's okay. No harm done. But you know, I really care about the United Empire. I just think that this is not needed. She wants to know what's funny. And then to quote tweet it as if like she has 1 million followers, but she really doesn't. She says, like, there's no relevant storyline or anything that's ever needed this energy, for sure. Be a bitch made, you know, whatever this is. I have no idea what that is. I don't know why people are making up words. Does she want to use another word that she can't use? I don't know. You know, but let's just say, because later on we will confirm that this really wasn't a storyline. It's some stupid ass beef. Let's just say it was a storyline. Why would she need to come out anyway and be like, you know, say some shit anyway if it was a storyline? I don't understand that. She follows it up with, you're a pouty little bitch all the time and approaching 50. By the way, Jeff Cobb is 42. You're a dad. That's a little personal. Nobody needs to know that. But congratulations on him being a dad. How is this not embarrassing, you greasy haired fuck? Mind you, she has 2 kids by TJP. So it's like, why are you telling him this when you also have kids? It's like, she could do no wrong and he could do wrong, and she'll be like, you're wrong for this, this, and this. And it's like, who are you? Where are you coming out from? I just don't like the little bulliness towards Jeff Cobb. And this is what happens when it comes to certain girls that, you know, they want to be that chihuahua barking at a Great Dane when it's like, you don't need to. You're not there. You're not part of this. Then we get on to this, saying that this is a shoot. Nobody likes I might get demonetized for that. I don't know. Little bitch boy attitude. Jeff Cobb feels the need to have, maybe it's the SARMs, and then to follow it up being like, do you think the Fed, by the way, if you continue to use the Fed rather than WWE, we all know where you at mentally. Okay, please stop saying the Fed this, the Fed that. Oh my God, the Fed is trying to monopolize professional wrestling. Oh my God, why don't you go back and watch the Fed? The Fed is more like your speed. Can you guys get a vocabulary? Can you guys like have your IQ like really fucking high rather than like, oh my God, the Fed? You think the Fed would like you? You think the Fed is gonna, sign you and you're gonna sign a WWE contract? Say their name. Okay? The Fed is it's so like a child. It's like a 5-year-old. Because you don't want to face facts that WWE is hot right now. WWE has the most money right now. WWE is in a positive upswing, whether we want to believe it or not. But you want to stay within your circles that are not growing. The indies that you stay around are not growing. And if somebody feels like they're not growing in a particular company, there are other companies that will treat them right, that will have them grow, and that will make them a world fucking champion. Because why does Jeff Cobb need to stay in New Japan Pro Wrestling when they're not giving a shit about this guy? And this guy also represented us at the Olympics. He has the gold medals tattooed on his back. He represented us in the Olympics, and you're going to be like, do you think the Fed will let you keep buying SARMs from that other guy in the locker room? Drop his name. Drop the other guy's name if you think that, SARMs is being passed around in the locker room, because this isn't the 90s anymore, where like people had to be in hide and secret and be like, oh my God, you got the steroids? Do you got the steroids? Yo, how much for the steroids? Like, drop his name. It's 2025. Nobody should be doing this. If you think, and if you have the evidence that Jeff Cobb is doing this, to even suggest that he's doing this, and you're the third person in this story, the third person in this drama, this is why sometimes women get a bad rep, and then people push back against women who talk out their ass with no evidence, and then the women is like, oh my God, you guys are being bullies to me. Women think that they can like say whatever they want and get away with it. And it's also a men thing too. So don't come at me with like, oh my God, but men this and men that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the fact that like women, when they get angry, I get it, because it all happens to all of us. We say shit that like sometimes we shouldn't be saying, but to continue to push this idea in 2 different tweets that are 3 minutes apart. 24 minutes to mention SARMs, 27 minutes to mention SARMs. That's like, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 3. 3 minutes apart. Where's the proof? Where's the other guy? Oh, but you don't want to take down the other guy that is supposedly giving Jeff Cobb and maybe others, who knows, the SARMs. You don't want to drop the other guy's name, but you want to go and bully Jeff Cobb as if like that's going to do some shit. This is why sometimes, women get a bad rep. And then when women talk so much and they lie, maybe they lie, I don't know, or they just say shit, and then you're like, hey, where's the evidence on that? They never want to give the evidence, but they always want to talk their shit, but they don't want to back it up. If you can back it up, then maybe people will not like go so hard from 0 to 100 on you. Because sometimes it's just out of decency and out of respect that like, if you're not going to be about it, don't start, trying to be like, oh, I'm the savior here. I'm the one trying to, let people know about this, when it's like, well, where's the evidence? Who's the other guy? No other person should be, we shouldn't really be giving out, steroids or any kind of like sports enhancement kind of deal in 2025, when we know all of the research and all of the statistics and the young ages that wrestlers have died. We know all about that. So why are you keeping the other guy's secret? By the way, if you don't know, SARMs is it's a supplement that helps keep the muscles on and the way that like a big guy looks. So you could think of it like steroids in a way, like a steroid supplement. So, you know, for her to have access to that information, but don't want to share it, it's kind of sus, because you're protecting one, but you want to bully the other just because Jeff Cobb didn't say, yes, let's praise TJP for him captaining the ship. But no, you want to go and do this shit. Now, because I believe I want to see what's the next. Okay, we did that. We did that one. So this here again, right? So this is more like shit that she's like revealing. And again, I just don't like this type of bullying where like she thinks she's in the right when it's like you're the third party coming in. Why should we believe the third party coming in and not like the two guys that this is against? You know, he didn't forget. He's just a giant bitch made pussy. Jeff Cobb is going to WWE. He's been in contact with them for months. Bruce Pritchard and Jeff had a meeting, and Jeff forgot already meeting Bruce in MOW and hit him with a nice to meet you, and Bruce corrected him. Okay. People on the indies would do anything for a spot in WWE. People on the indies would do anything to go up to Bruce Pritchard, shake his hand, and be like, hey, nice to meet you. Hey, thank you for coming to an MLW event. And just because Jeff Cobb forgot, does that do anything? Does that mean anything? It absolutely doesn't mean shit. Like, people forget all the time. Like, you know, it's not that big of a deal, but to put that information out there as if it's like some type of dirt, as if it's like it's gonna hurt his chances of not going to WWE, she's in the wrong, because now she's affecting Jeff Cobb and his family. Do you see how personal she made this little incident blow up, when like she should have never done that? Never done it. And the saddest part is that TJP, you know, maybe he talked to her in private, but even online should have been like, nah, like don't even do that. That's wrong. You had to at least have some decency for like your coworkers, or by way of, you know, unless they really do something like heinous to you. She's tweeting all of this out as if like Jeff Cobb did something heinous to her and her family. And it's like, there is no evidence right now to say that he did or did not do anything heinous. So it's sort of like, where is this hatred coming from? It makes no sense at all. But indie people, indie wrestlers who don't want to continue making $100 a night, and I'm being very generous, who don't want to make $100 a night, will love to have a tryout with WWE, will love to meet Bruce Pritchard and be like, hey, I'm such and such, I can do this, these are my skills, this is what I can bring to the table. You know, Jeff is doing what's best for him, and Arya right now is burning bridges for TJP. And by the way, I will say this, that, and people are not going to like it, especially for like new age feminists are not gonna like it, but it does hold up that whenever you fall in love with somebody and then you want to go tie the knot and you want to become husband and wife, or you're still boyfriend and girlfriend, I still believe that you are a representation of your man, and your man is a representation of you. The way that you act in front of people, and this goes both ways, the way that you act, the way that he acts, sets a perception about the two of you as a couple. So knowing that she has this outburst, knowing that we have the screenshots, because nothing truly ever dies on the internet, they could always bring this up and be like, well, if we work with TJP, his wife might go 0 to 100, and that's going to limit his opportunities, even though he is a freelancer, and he will probably tell the company or whoever is going to book him that he is for himself. which he should be telling people that, because it's his book and his opportunity. Whatever his wife does is not necessarily a reflection on him, but it's still going to look like a reflection on him because of these screenshots, because she goes from 0 to 100. If she doesn't like something, she's going to say it anyway without even thinking twice about it. And that's going to hinder him and hinder her from opportunities. And then what they're going to do, because, you know, again, not to make this personal or anything like that, but the information is already out there. They have 2 kids. If and you know, if you burn bridges and opportunities, you're gonna have to turn to something else to make money to provide for everybody. This is why, like, you don't do this on the internet for, you know, your stupid ass reasons. I am missing one of the tweets. So like I said, there is one that I'm going to show for like a quick second, because I think that if I show it too long, basically, I don't want to get demonetized. So, heads up. This is not okay. This is not okay. Not at all. So I'm going to go back to a different picture because I don't want it to stay on there, but it's not okay to tell somebody to unalive themselves. It's not okay, because we say it all the time in the wrestling community of like, hey, you know, go and report this account, go report that account for being, you know, an ass or whatever, or being like really unhinged. But to tell, you know, a wrestler or anybody to go do that is completely wrong. Completely wrong. And we know that we're not going to get an apology from her, because most women will be like, oh, I was just angry. It's just emotion. Oh my God, I don't have to apologize to nobody. You know, I could just say whatever I want. Women don't like accountability. And I say that as a woman. And I don't want to make it as a bashing of women, but like, if we're going to hold men to such high, ridiculous standards, and if we're going to hold a community to high, ridiculous standards, when we find a bot and or maybe a actual human being that is being an asshole on the internet and actually bullying people on the internet, we're like, hey, report this account because this is bad. But we don't ask for an apology from someone that goes from 0 to 100. Like, the priorities are all wrong. Like, can we start in 2025 and in 2026 where women take accountability for their shit sometimes, and not act like a fool when it comes to the wrestling space, or be the third wheel in a conversation that like is not needed with them? Because like I said, she doesn't work for New Japan Pro Wrestling. She's not part of being a valet for TJP to show up in New Japan Pro Wrestling, to be a part of the United Empire. That's not happening. If it was, I wouldn't be like talking about this, because like obviously she will know the behind the scenes. But if you're getting told from a third party source, secondhand source, meaning TJP, then like, no, don't say shit. There are just certain roles that, like, you know, we just gotta abide by, because it doesn't really concern people. I am missing one. Hold on. What am I missing? I am missing one. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in and hearing me talk about this. We do have some more stuff to talk about and you know, get over, but right now I feel like I'm missing the main one, but I wanted to bring attention to that. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, drop them down below, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. But I just don't like that Jeff Cobb is getting bullied by a woman that has no business bullying him. when this motherfucker can sit on you? Like, why would you go and bully somebody that's a fucking tank? Why would you do that? Um, I don't care like how big you can yell, you can yap, you could be a chihuahua. Jeff Cobb is a motherfucking tank. Like, did I not? I don't think I ever took a screenshot of it. Oh my god, I didn't take a screenshot of it. Um uh is it not in here? Oh my god. Uh this is great. This is why I should eventually invest in putting Twitter back on my laptop. But if I do that, I'm going to be very, very distracted. If I do that. But yeah, like I don't know why she blocked me. I don't know if she'll ever give me an answer. If she doesn't, that's totally okay. But it's just one of those like we could always have a conversation. The way that I think is not like the way that everyone else thinks. Um, I rather have enough knowledge for all of that. Um, so enough knowledge for certain conversations. So yeah, if not, I might just have to go to Reddit if I can't find it. If she decided to delete it. Um, uh, and by the way, I've never seen any of her matches because she's apparently a wrestler, and I'm like I've never seen any of your matches, but I know you had an OnlyFans, which is the oddest thing when you go on Twitter and then like you're there scrolling and you see some stuff and you're like, what? you know? By the way, I do think talking about in general, I think we need to stop pushing women and girls into getting OnlyFans because it's just like really if obviously if they feel comfortable doing it they could do it, but I just think like it's not worth it in the end because people are just weird on the internet and people want like what they want and they really don't give a shit about like the person themselves, you know. I just think that like nobody should be like, hey, do you got an OnlyFans? If they continue to do that, then just give them what is it, a blank page of like fans and whatnot, you know. But I just think like not every girl out there that we should be pushing them to do that just because it's like, oh, it's easy money. People will give you this and that. Okay, I believe she deleted it. She deleted the main one. She deleted it, but like no apologies. Of course, no apologies. Um, Let me go over to Reddit. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, how is everybody doing while I do this? And then we'll get into watching stuff. Um, la, 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 la. Oh my god. Um, Do I just put like... Okay. Uh, okay, so um I'll read it here because I am on the New Japan subreddit. Um so remember the first I'll put it up on the screen. That's what I would do. So you remember this one where he just says his goodbyes and thanks those, and people are going to be in like really good hands with this and that, right? She had quote tweeted that. Oh, excuse me. To say, do you realize the entire group is thrilled you're on the way out? You're a miserable human being. Nobody wants you there. There's a whole group chat talking shit on your big bitch ass. You bleeping, bleeping, bleeping. First of all, why would you announce that there is a group chat talking shit about Jeff Cobb? Why would anybody want to air that out on the Twitter timeline that there is a group chat talking shit about somebody? You know who does that? Someone who still has a high school mentality. Someone that's like, oh my God, this is going to get them. It's so going to get them. It's so going to, affect their day. Like, hey, people are talking shit about you in this group chat that I'm in. Like, nobody wants you here, which I think is a lie. Okay. I really do. If Jeff Cobb was such a bad guy, right? If he was such a bad guy, he would not be able to work with anybody. The industry would be like, oh, I don't want to work with him. He wouldn't get booked. He wouldn't be on Lucha Underground. He wouldn't be in MLW. He wouldn't be part of the industry if that was the case. At some point, for any other wrestler that's out there, like Alberto Del Rio, people have a problem with, and they keep him out of like other bookings, like, other problematic people that we found out about, we keep them out in to an extent. But to say that do you realize the entire group is still you're on your way out, which is a fucking lie. Like the Great O'Khan and like Jeff Cobb are like best buddies. He's probably, Jeff Cobb is probably not miserable. It's just maybe one of his personality traits that you don't understand because you don't want to understand people. You want to instantly block if they are not like you mentally, or like you're not understanding something. You have low IQ. This whole entire drama thing went from 0 to 100 because you want to just say all the shit. Jeff Cobb has been busting his ass forever. And he's the miserable one. Jeff Cobb is the one that got, stupid ass title shots and carried stupid ass titles. And not even the big one, when he has been given, his blood, sweat, and tears and his loyalty to New Japan Pro Wrestling. And, he's the miserable one. There's a whole group chat talking shit about him. That is the most high school shit ever to say, and think that that's going to affect Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb is not 15. Jeff Cobb is not 16. This guy is fucking 42 and like probably like, I don't give a shit about anything kind of deal. But you want to know what's one thing that I can say that like Jeff Cobb has been proven to show up when he needs to show up, and he shows out, and the NJPW crowd is like super behind him. Now we can say that from his promos, the backstage comments, that it can come off as like, he could be miserable, but he's only speaking the truth. I mean, this is the guy that took a pinfall to Konosuke, and Konosuke doesn't even go to New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I was upset about that, and I was upset on behalf of Jeff Cobb, because it's like, bro, you don't go here. Why are you beating Jeff Cobb, one of the biggest, freaking tanks there is that New Japan has? New Japan does not have any big guys. Jonah went back to WWE. Jeff Cobb is going to do very well in WWE. They don't have big guys anymore. They should have some big guys. But yeah, that is what TJP's wife said. And like I said, TJP's wife is burning so many bridges that she doesn't even know. And when you burn bridges like that, even though TJP is going to be like, I'm an independent for myself, it's still going to hurt him in some aspect, because like I said before, that other people are going to get upset at me, is that you are a representation of whoever you are dating or whoever you are married to. That's just how it is. If you guys want to contest with me on that, just think about the last time it's 2025. Who goes to a house party? If anybody goes to a house party, let me know down in the comments below. But back in the 90s, back in the 80s, maybe like 2010s, we still had house parties. And like, if you go and make a fool of yourself, that perception is going to linger. And then people are going to be like, yo, why is your girl acting like that? Or they're going to be like, yo, why is your man acting like that? It fucking happens. I really want the internet world of the IWC to think beyond their bubble and think about some life experiences that they've had and some interactions that they had where people would be like, hey, why did this person do this? You're giving a bad perception of what, what people can expect, but I just don't like Jeff Cobb being bullied. I really don't. I don't like Jeff Cobb being bullied. I don't like people being bullied for no reason, especially when you don't have, I don't want to say the right. When you're not in it, you know that age-old phrase of like, this is an A-B conversation, see your way out of it. I might be showing my age a little bit, but yeah, like that. Jeff Cobb is in good spirits though. He doesn't like the idea of someone telling him or others to unalive themselves. If you mentally need somebody to talk to, make sure you go talk to them. If you need some therapy, go get some therapy. Do what you can, because everybody deserves to be here, and make some friendships, make some connections, make some networking stuff, be in really good spirits and stuff like that. Nobody should be telling other people to unalive themselves. And even though we're not going to get it, TJP's wife should be apologizing to Jeff Cobb, because it is completely wrong for a number of reasons that I have stated here. And we're going to move on to the next topic. Which is watching some stuff. So if we were to watch the ESPN interview with The Rock on Pat McAfee's show, because I didn't know that the Pat McAfee show was part of ESPN. We are going to watch the clip of him missing WrestleMania 41, because I don't think there's anything else to be discussed. But if you think that there's other sound bites that need to be discussed, please put them down in the comments below, and I'll be right back and I'll read the comments. But yeah, we're gonna go over The Rock's comments. I also want to go over Bailey's comments as well, and I think that's probably gonna wrap up the thing. Also, we'll talk a little bit about music and theme songs. This really wasn't gonna, I didn't plan for this to be like a WrestleMania recap. I might do that over at Substack, but I'll let you guys know towards the end of everything. But yeah, give me a moment Drop some comments down below. Hit that like button. I'll be right back. Ooh, got a shock. Okay. Okay, hold on. I hate that this thing is like, oh, the audio bitrate and whatnot. Like, what is wrong with my audio bitrate? My audio bitrate is fine. Um, so we are going to listen to. Really? Hold on. Is it not? Okay, hold on. That doesn't make any sense, or it does make sense. Um, 1 second, guys. Yeah, why is it not? Why is it not? Oh my God. Okay. Of course, um, listen, like I say, if you are not a streamer running into some technical difficulties, what are you even doing? What is this CS360? What is that? Okay, so this is connected, right? Okay, so I can't. Oh, hello. This is connected, right? Um, this is so odd. Okay, so hold on. What if I do um Oh my God, I have the headphones on. Why is it not sounding through the headphones? Uh, is it because I didn't? Oh my God.
Courtyard's
Always,
official fan bass.
always. Okay, so, um, I hate
Has
this.
opened a new.
Okay. Yeah, I just fixed it. It's always like something. It's like you forget the tiny little thing about it. Um, Now I gotta put it up on screen, so give me a second. We'll leave it like this.
As we got closer to Elimination Chamber, we were kicking ideas around, myself and Triple H. And that's the fun part, by the way. I've been kicking ideas around with Triple H for 20 years, dude. Just always having a great time with him and Nick and my team as well. And 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 Triple H said, you know, what about this? What about John turning? I said, I love it. I love it. The next question is you got to talk to John, see how he
I like the idea too. Finally, like we have John Cena turning, which is a good thing.
feels about it. And you know, in a moment where you have this shift and click moment, and it happened to me when I was a pure baby face. I got booed out of the building around the world, and they took the title off me my rookie year,
Yep.
and they sent me home the summer of '97. And I didn't know what I was going to do. I just knew this is not going to work for me. I don't even know if I have a future in pro wrestling. I get a call from Vince and says, I'm going to bring you back as a heel and be part of the Nation of Domination. I said, that's great. I love it. But just give me 2 minutes on the microphone to speak from the heart. And he did that, and things changed immediately that night. It's the same thing with John. John loved this idea of turning heel, but he's like, but you know what? There's an anchor here that I'm going to root it in, which is a real thing that I've been experiencing over the years, past 20, 25 years. So when when we were moving forward with John, uh, and this idea of him getting crowned at WrestleMania, and becoming 17 and turning heel. I'm sorry, and then being a heel champion. I knew then the best thing for the final boss. We've established this idea of Cody's soul. We can always come back to it. I did feel, and I made the call. I don't want to be involved in that. Step back. Let the final boss step back into the shadows. Let all the spotlight go to John. Let it go to Cody. Let's not make it about Cody's soul eventually or John's soul. No, let's let them do what they do. And I
Hmm.
called John after Elimination Chamber, spoke to him, called Cody, and I said, I think the final boss's work is done. We've established it. We just pulled off the greatest angle in the history of professional wrestling, other than Hulk Hogan turning heel back in the 90s. I said, this is amazing. We have 6 weeks. Now, let's build. You guys go and crush it. And I'll be right there with you. And I'm always here if you need me. But I think it's best for the final boss not to be involved in that finish. You guys go. So they had 6 weeks to plan for that. So I love the finish up.
Okay, so I'm gonna pause it right there because before we get too further into it, my first initial thoughts was that that was a good idea of him not wanting to be like hands on into it, because that big angle of him coming out, and well, actually the whole entire story of him like wanting to take Cody's soul and needing a soul, and that he could give he could give anybody whatever they want, like in reality we've always written stories about something like this, and in our reality, in our time, we can make it happen, aka The Rock. We can make it happen, and that's not me trying to kiss his ass or anything like that. It's about putting things into perspective, because like I said, for years and years and years, we wrote about these kind of stories where, like, if you have a genie and they give you 3 wishes and they could give you whatever you want because they have all, like, the power in the world, so to speak. And this is where we bring it back into kayfabe and become a fan again and become a wrestling fan. And that The Rock, being the final boss, has a lot of connections to everybody in the industry, can make things happen. And even if he can't make something happen, he'll try to do his best to make something happen in a kayfabe kind of setting. So, like, you know, I almost forgot what the point was, but I do think that this time around it was better for The Rock not to be fully involved in this build-up between John Cena and Cody Rhodes. But I do think that the build-up was falling short. Just because of how they did it. This whole entire transition should have started back at the Royal Rumble. I still think that John Cena should have won the Royal Rumble, and then Jey Uso winning the Elimination Chamber. But, you know, we got what we got now. John Cena turning heel at the Elimination Chamber was fantastic. That was great. That was hands-on. And you can tell the difference between, like, when The Rock has his hands on it, it becomes really interesting, really good, and there's a lot of talking points. There's a lot of different angles that we can, you know, dissect what has happened. When The Rock doesn't touch it, it's sort of like we needed something. Like, I put this out on Twitter that, like, the only reason why, like, I would have wanted The Rock there was because since we got freaking Travis Scott walking down the damn aisle, taking his sweet ass time, I was like, yo, Travis Scott is still a civilian in the world of professional wrestling. And so, you know, if The Rock was there, it would have gave a little bit more, like, validness, if I just made up a word. It'll give a little bit more, you know, valid to what's happening, right? But I would have not wanted The Rock to like interfere in the match at all. I would want The Rock at WrestleMania 41 in the main event to be there as the final boss, this intimidating guy. And obviously he's on the side of Cena, like, you know, that's his guy. Cena gave his soul over to The Rock to get, like, more luxurious things and shit like that. So The Rock really doesn't need to interfere for John Cena, because John Cena's been doing this as long as The Rock. It's just the idea of that the final boss is there, something could happen, Cody could get distracted, and then that will mean that Cody eventually has to get some friends to fight the final boss and John Cena, because he gets distracted very, very easily, especially if his family is involved. His family always being at ringside. There's Mama Rhodes. Like, The Rock made that shit famous with Mama Rhodes. So I'm always expecting that if Mama Rhodes shows up, the final boss is showing up. That is what I expect. But I do think that it was also a good thing that The Rock didn't show up at WrestleMania 41. And if The Rock is going to be making deals behind the scenes, that's also a very, very good thing to do as well. But in terms of, like, not wanting to be there, I think that was a really, really good choice. But at the same time, watching Cena versus Cody, I felt like there was missing something. Something was fucking missing. And I'm not exactly sure what it was. I enjoyed the triple threat of the main event of night one, which is Seth Rollins versus CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. I enjoyed that so much more than, like, the main event of night two. But then I was also thinking about this, that, like, you can tell that these matches, depending on who is producing these matches, felt like, you know, back in the day when, like, you know, you're doing a school project and it's supposed to be like a group project, you can tell who did what. If we go back to when The Rock inserted himself into WrestleMania and stuff, like, that stuff is still talked about because of how it was done, all the emotion that ran through it, all of the, you know, who carried what and who did what. You can tell, you know, the amount of effort that was put into it. There wasn't that much effort between Cena and Cody because they were trying to sell us on the promos, and I love promos, I really do. But, like, how many times have we heard a Cody promo? You know, Cena doing what he's doing now is a very good promo because he has people in the palm of his hands. Cody being, like, the ultimate baby face. I've seen this before. I've heard this before. What else can you tell me as a babyface, Cody Rhodes, that, that can make me be like, okay, I'm a little bit more invested now in this. So I think that by The Rock not having his hands in this one, it just really fell short. But at least The Rock is being honest, and that's what I appreciate about The Rock. Dear Rock, please go save New Japan Pro Wrestling. Thank you. He was being Dwayne Johnson as himself, and people act like they don't know the difference between TV characters and being the self. People are stupid, and Travis Scott get paid to be healed. They don't get it. They don't get it because they view the world as if like you have to be this or that, and you can't sway from it. So like if The Rock says that he's the final boss, they think of him as the final boss no matter what. It's one of those things of like, it's on them. It's more on them because they don't understand life. They grew up with a screen in front of their faces, so that is their attachment. And what they see on, TikTok, what they see on Instagram Reels, what they see in short form videos and like IRL streams, they think that everybody is like how they are, and they can't deviate from that, and they don't know the difference between a character and someone as themselves.
Of the match, I would have finessed things a little differently on how they got there.
Yeah,
but that's just me creatively. There are a lot of minds in the room. That's my thought. But still, ultimately, the bottom line was I love John getting 17. And I never had a concern about John pulling this off. My thoughts are always to Cody because of what we've established with him and his story and the kind of babyface that he is. So if done right, and I think if finessed right, and if nuanced right, down the road, that guy not only has an incredible babyface run again as champion, but also just an unheard of run as a heel.
Yeah.
Listen, Rock, have you seen AEW? Like, we all wanted him to turn heel because we were like, yo, this is what is it? Homelander vibes. Like, Cody says multiple times on those AEW calls back in the day that he does not have a heel bone in his body. I cannot wait until we get to the version of Cody Rhodes where he is a heel, because he better go full on heel and like show us nothing of his home life, and like stick to being a heel so that we could believe in it. Man, I can't wait for him to be a heel.
Let's talk about you saying the final boss needs to step away to, kind of let the spotlight be where it should be with John and Cody, who, potentially you talk about John being the GOAT. There's a chance Cody, when it's all said and done, is also trying to vie for a spot on that Mount Rushmore rock with his dad on the backside with you raising your eyebrow. A lot of people just assumed you were going to show up. So when Travis Scott comes out, they think there's a chance of maybe, there's going to be a reunion from the Elimination Chamber. What are your thoughts on Travis Scott getting involved? And you saying anytime you're around is a good thing, not a bad thing.
Them meaning Triple H and Nick and Ari as well. And I lay this out and I say, hey, here's how I really feel it should go. We can insert final boss in the end of this finish, but then where do we go? Mm-hmm. There's other commitments that I have, and I want to also be careful that we're not overstepping and leading over our skis too much here. Can get involved in the finish, and I said, but why get involved in that finish when the spotlight should just be on, in my opinion, John, 17, heel champion? What does 2025 look like if this man is saying he's going to ruin professional wrestling? That, to me, is the anchoring storyline. It's not soul right now. Right now, it's not. But by the way, we'll go back to it.
We'll still got it. Yeah, still.
Exactly. That's the thing. This is why sometimes Triple H gets upset at like the internet wrestling community when he was like, yo, I wish I could tell them, all to F off, because it's like, you got to be along for the ride. Your favorite TV show that you binge on Hulu, Netflix, wherever, Amazon, your favorite show, they're not going to reveal their hand and the biggest story plot in the episode 1. they basically over a season will slowly, gradually show you the biggest story plot there is in your favorite TV show that you keep on binging and binging and binging. And people online on the internet, they know that misery is another form of currency and attention seeking. And I would advise everybody to stop interacting with those accounts because they don't give a shit about wrestling. They don't care about wrestling. They care about themselves. They care about their fantasy booking. They care about like them being right and them trying to win at something in a very desperate manner to the point where it's like, are you even human at that point? Because you don't need to be saying the stupid shit that you guys say. You don't need to be saying that The Rock is lying. You don't need to be saying that, you know, The Rock is wrong, this and that, and blah, 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 and having arguments. For what? As if it's like you're going to win something and be like, oh, you won first place for this argument. And it's like, you're not arguing about anything. He's totally right. If The Rock has prior engagements and feel like, Cena could get it done because Cena is not new. This isn't like a mentorship where The Rock is like, okay, Cena, I'm going to take you under my wing. Cena's been there for 20 years. He's been doing this, even though he went to Hollywood, but he's been doing this. This isn't a mentorship where The Rock has to be like, I'm going to oversee you. Now with Travis Scott, that's sort of like I need you guys to take care of the civilian because I don't believe Travis Scott needs to be in there. I really don't. But I still need you to take care of the civilian if he's going to continue to be in that ring. And by the way, can we please bring back the tradition of wiping your feet before you get into the ring? Please, let's bring that back. But The Rock is totally correct here. The Rock has other prior engagements. And if he feels like he doesn't need to be in a Cena versus Cody match, even though he could have had like maybe a mini video to be like, this is what my champion is all about, but then it could take away the spotlight from Cena being 17-time world champion. Like, you know, The Rock is like, you either do or you don't. You know, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
We'll go back to Phil. Look, I can't take the text that I got and from the guys that I got, who are these top guys who are saying, you know, one in particular who I love is my guy. I call him the Superman of the company. He's like, listen, my soul's for sale when it's time. I said, I love it. Let's do it. So, look, I love Travis Scott involved, and I'll tell you why. Because he loves wrestling. He's a huge fan, and he respects it. He's working his ass off. I know that he has plans to train with Booker T.
I think I texted you. I texted you as it was happening. Holy
you did.
Shit.
You were like, are you coming out? And I was like, no, dude, I would tell you if I'm coming out. I'm not kayfabing you. But again, I loved, at the end of the day, North Star, John Cena, heel champion, 17, the GOAT. Says he's going to ruin wrestling. Now we tune every week in every week to see how it happens, how that goes down. Some parts of it I would have just.
I mean, it's JD from New York. I mean, he does what he does. Like he's now Rock or Bean in shoes. He trusts Triple H. He does what he does.
Adjust a little bit more. I would have finessed it a little bit more.
But it was a great WrestleMania. I think you all should be incredibly proud.
Great.
Would have been awesome for
Oh man.
Just the place would
Damn,
absolutely
Pat.
apeshit. But the next time it does, it will go crazy.
Damn, Pat. Okay, so I guess that's the only thing that like I wanted to comment on very quickly, right? There's also something else I wanted to comment on. But yeah, The Rock is totally right. You know, The Rock could do whatever he wants at this point. People want to say online that he's the one that made this story and he should stick with it. He shoehorned it. But you guys have to remember that, you know, the final boss doesn't really have to be there. His henchman, John Cena, can carry out whatever, you know, the final boss wants. And luckily Cena got the championship title, because if Cena didn't get the championship title, it'll be a whole nother like story idea where The Rock is like, yo, I brought you in here, I gave you extra luxuries or whatever the case may be, and like you didn't capitalize on it. Cody's still here, to bring up a phrase of like, we have a Cody problem. Like, it would have been different. But the final boss doesn't always have to be there unless like it's needed. Cena could take care of himself. Cena is one of the henchmen. The final boss is that genie. Well, not really that genie, but that boss to be like, I'm going to go do other stuff in the background. I'm going to go make some deals. I need you to go get that belt. Okay, cool. Go get that belt. That's all it is. I don't know why people are like, giving The Rock a hard time. But this is something this is a clip
Resistance
from CVV. This is a clip from CVV when he's interviewing Bayley, and the title is Bayley on being underutilized in WWE. I just have some ideas. That can probably help just to talk. It's a conversation. It's not really like, oh my God, you have to do this. Like, it's not really that. Oh, sorry.
I feel like you're at this point in your career where you've accomplished so much, and there's still a section of the audience that doesn't give you the respect that you deserve.
Yeah, what the heck, guys?
But well, seriously,
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense when you look at the resume that you've had, when you look at the people you've worked with, when you look at the moments that you've been part of. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Okay, before she gives her answer, I just think it's placement, it's character work, and timing. Like, there's a bunch of different factors, and I'm not saying that these factors are like, what equates to all of this and how she's feeling. It's all valid how she's feeling, because Chris is right that like the extensive resume that Bayley has, it really feels like there's still a section of fans that don't really give her the time of day or give her the respect. There's other people on the other side of that do give her the respect and stuff like that, and really do love and enjoy Bayley and stuff like that. But I do think like, for me, some of the stuff that she does doesn't really hit right. And when I say hit right, I mean more like the character work that she does. So like the ding dong idiot thing just wasn't like, what are we doing? I felt that was cringe. I felt that was corny. Ding dong, you idiot, or whatever. Like, I don't know. When she had the talk show, everyone has a talk show on like wrestling. She had the hugger into this, the role model. That was like what are we doing? They give Bayley all these different roles to play, and she plays them beautifully to the best of her ability. And I'm not taking any of that away, but like, they're not connecting, they're not hitting. I know Bayley more for like her wrestling ability, her way to have like really good matches with whoever she's paired up with. She had Damage Control, which was an interesting faction that could have, been very great, but like it just failed along the way by kicking her out. I don't understand why, like, the leaders end up getting kicked out way faster than anybody else. Sometimes when she does her promos, I don't know if she believes anything that she says, and it still feels like she reads off of a script rather than it sounding like coming from here, but it's still a script. She's a really good performer. It's just everything else to me sometimes doesn't connect. And she has a lot of accolades. She has a lot of first times. She has a lot of, title belts. None of that is being taken away as I explained this to you guys. But I just feel like certain things just don't connect.
I guess that sucks because, like I said, like I don't let things get to me, and I stopped reading tweets or comments and all that stuff a long time ago. But I do feel that, and I see that, and I'm just like, what am I missing? And like, so that's the one thing that still gets to me. And maybe that's like ego or pride or whatever, but I'm just like, what do you like, what am I missing that you don't understand what I've done for this industry or what, it's hard to explain. And especially now, because I feel like, okay, well, I've been doing this I've been wrestling for like 16 years altogether.
Yeah.
So
Damn.
I'm like, okay, well, obviously, like, I'm going to slow down at some point. But now when I see shit like that, like, oh, she's not this or not this, like now I have to, like, yeah, no, now I got to prove them wrong. But there's also a part of me that feels and agrees with them. Like, I was just telling Lyra this the other day. We've been doing a lot of bonding. I don't feel that I'm at a level of a Charlotte or a Becky. And like, but we came up together, and like I wrestled Charlotte in her first match ever. Like, I was signed to WWE before Becky. So like, when I see, like, to me, they're up here and I'm just not there.
That's because that age-old phrase of nice guys don't finish last, nice girls don't finish last. If you are not trying to, ask for things or pitch things or something like that, like, they know she's good. They know that Bailey is the one person that if they give her something, it's because they trust her and that they rely on her to basically guide the way in such a sense. They have that much trust and faith into her, but to let her run like Becky and Charlotte, no. For, maybe some not even a problem in a way, but I feel like because Bailey is so nice and so humble that she needs to start taking what's hers in order to feel like on the same level as Becky and Charlotte. Fans can definitely be a direct problem, but for most of the part, like I've said over and over again, most of the comments online could be bought by bots, and you might have some actual real human beings, but for the most part, it's like bots that just say a lot of stupid shit, because you can program the bots to get triggered by something, and they'll go off on like whatever it is, and people pay for that, and nobody understands that on the internet. Like, I don't know why we can't get that through people's heads, but it's also because Bailey comes across as being nice.
Yet, and maybe that's kind of like where people base it off, or like where they judge it or whatever. But like I keep saying, I get my feedback and opinions from the right people to me. Like someone like Tyler Breeze, who taught me so many things. I still talk to him about all my matches. Like, he still gives me feedback. He still gives me ideas to this day. And if he enjoys something that I do, then I believe it and I respect it. But if he tells me like, you need to do this better, I'll do it. Someone like TJ, whatever he says, I respect it and I believe him, so like, as many people, think that I'm not at this level or whatever, part of me agrees with them because I don't think I'm there yet.
After the Rumble last year, CM Punk even said, like, put some respect on her name.
Yeah.
And he had a really good point.
Yeah.
You won the Royal Rumble and you're not even at the press conference.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of moments like that. I feel like I don't get on the press conference. I don't get on the posters. I don't, get to do the talk shows. I don't know what else to do, and it's not.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right there. This is why I wanted to comment on it, is because, even though WWE has like the big machine behind like almost everybody, and they put them on this talk show, that talk show, this podcast, that podcast, on the presser, not on the presser. The presser is just like stretched for time, so they just end up getting whoever is available, and if they can't get to someone fast enough, they'll just have someone that's like very quickly just go there. I don't think the pressers, like the media scrums or the media press after show stuff, I don't think she should put like a lot of stock into that, because sometimes they're very fucking meaningless depending on who's there, being a journalist and asking questions and asking, what do you eat at Waffle House and stuff like that. Like, that doesn't help the wrestlers. That doesn't help story. That doesn't help the company. That doesn't help like the event. But I do think that if Bailey feels kind of stuck, she has the whole world of social media to her hands. She can start a Twitter space where like she's not going to take anybody as co-host, no questions, start a Twitter space and start talking about one of her matches and how she felt about her matches and just start talking about wrestling. Or she could start, an IG live, which I think she has done in the past. She usually like either records like her workouts, which are like cool to watch. She has like cool things that people will attach themselves to, but you have to feel like you're important for people to give a shit and give you to that level. Like if we look at Charlotte walks around with so much confidence, regardless of like if she got divorced, didn't get divorced, in a new relationship, she walks around with confidence. Do you see the way that she like accessorizes and like what she wears and like all the modeling stuff that she does? She walks around with confidence, and that is what gives her like that level above like Bailey. The same thing with Becky. Becky has that confidence too, but she also has that I'm gonna kick your ass kind of deal, like right at the edge of her walking in with confidence, and she's very confident in herself. Bailey has that humbleness about her, and when people walk in with a humbleness, nobody's going to take you seriously. No one's going to be like, oh yeah, you're going to be a top dog. People are going to be like, I can trust you. I could put you in this little box where if I need something, I know you're going to be there. You're going to be loyal. You're going to help me out. You're going to be right there. But because Bailey does not walk around with the confidence that she has, that she knows that she has, she probably knows she has this confidence. But because she doesn't walk around with this confidence, that's why there's this unbalance. And that's why she thinks that, like, she's not there yet, because of she walks around being humble. Now, yes, you should have some humbleness within you rather than like an ego or something. But just because you walk around with confidence doesn't mean that you're an asshole, doesn't mean that like you're, whatever word you want to throw around. You walk with confidence because you know that you are the best at what you do and you believe it. But you also know that you're humble and that without anybody else, you wouldn't be at that position. But like most people just have confidence. Bailey doesn't walk around with confidence most of the time, but I was just thinking of like ideas for her to do, which is basically like use social media to her advantage. Show us a different side. Talk about how she felt with the whole ding dong experience, because that was like a way out of like, what are we doing here? Where she was like, making fun of Michael Cole and all this kind of shit. And like, like I said, so Twitter Spaces, going live, starting a YouTube channel of just like her life and like what she does, but not like so much, because I know she's a private person, but like really cool, like skits or whatever. She could definitely like ask Maxine, like, some pointers, little, like, I don't know if she wants to get on TikTok, but there's so much that she could do that people could gravitate towards it, and with the confidence that she'll be at that level. In my head originally, I was going to say like do something like what Karrion Kross is. Like if you look at Karrion Kross and the way that he just gets on social media to drop a promo video where like he's not directly involved in like any of the matches of like the guys that he's wrestling. Did that make sense? Like if someone has a wrestling match, but he's involved in them in the story because he's like, I want to see the best out of you, right? Do what Karrion Kross does in a way, not like copy for like homework kind of thing, but like, take inspiration. Triple H believes in her. She's going to get the IC title from Becky. I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. I really don't want Becky to get the IC title. And by the way, I am not a Becky Lynch fan. I don't get the hype. I really don't. But we'll see what happens.
Not like there's no heat in backstage or anything like that. Hunter and I have a really good relationship. Bruce and I have a really good relationship. all the TR. Like I have such a good relationship with them, and I've always been professional. Even like, you know, when I've gone to other shows to support my friends, like we've had those conversations of like the do's and the don'ts, and that was a little too much, or, you know, like we've had those conversations. So I think we're at a real respect level. And Hunters has like gone on press conference being like, Bailey's this, Bailey's this, Bailey's this. She's everything that, you know, you could possibly want out of a superstar, which I appreciate. But it's like, all right, well, like, what do I need to do to get me there?
Yeah, and how do you not take that personally?
Ah,
You know, like you're being told you're going to win the Royal Rumble, then you win the Royal Rumble,
Yeah.
you do the point and everything,
yeah,
and then it's like, well, what now?
yeah, I know. It's oof. By the time this,
You know, back in the day, if someone won the Royal Rumble, they'll just go home, relax, and like celebrate and have a party. You know, as much as like in kayfabe, because she won the Royal Rumble, she should have been at the presser taking questions, because that's what, like, you know, they'll have for like the champions and stuff like that. But you know, you just defeated 29 other girls. Why not just take that, you know, moment to yourself, rather than share it with all the journalists in the room and, you know, celebrate. Go to, you know, take your shower if you need to take a shower in the building. Grab some people, your closest friends, and be like, yo, we're all going to a restaurant. Like, you really don't need to be part of that media press, because they're gonna ask you like stupid questions of like, how does it feel that you won the Royal Rumble? What does this mean for Bailey to win the Royal Rumble? Can you tell us a little bit of an insight for you to win the Royal Rumble? Bailey, big fan. Oh my God, big fan, Bailey. You just beat 29 other girls in the WWE Women's Royal Rumble. Tell us all how that made you feel. Like, oh my God, Bailey. Like, you don't want to get bombarded by dumbass questions like that, okay? I rather, like, Bailey wins, take it in, celebrate with some close friends, and then go to WWE and pitch a press conference to have for yourself, the same way that like New Japan Pro Wrestling does whenever somebody wins the New Japan Cup, wins a tournament, wins a belt, and they get their own private like one-on-one press conference. And maybe that could be an idea that, you know, if somebody doesn't want to be at this media press, that they could do their own private one. Or if they're creative, set up a YouTube channel, get like a really good background or whatever, and be like, and have a press conference and ask people on the internet to send you questions, and you will be streaming live, and you would, you know, just read it from there. Like, there's so many different things where we can do. So many different things. I just don't like that this has to be a bit of a downer to be like, how does that make you feel? How do you not take it personally, Bailey? And it's like, you can tell she takes it slightly personal, but at the end of the day, if she has her strong core group of people that she goes for feedback to, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But I totally understand that, like, perception is everything. The internet perception is everything, even though we say that the internet is not real life, but sometimes that shit kind of hurts. Sometimes that shit kind of lingers and shit like that. Like, you know, it bothers us to an effect, because we're still human at our core. We still have feelings at our core, but I just gave you guys a bunch of ideas. You think Triple H is stopping media and dirt sheets from conferences that they are negative towards WWE? No, not necessarily. I just think that like specific people in the IWC of the dirt sheets that would ask Triple H very legal, personal questions when that has nothing to do with him, and they keep trying to do that, or they try to make it an issue about like race or whatever. Like, those don't need to be there, because this is still a kayfabe kind of entertainment. it is still sports and entertainment. This isn't like the NFL where you could probably get away with asking that question. Because the NFL, like, you know, it's considered like a real sport. But in the sport of wrestling, we are dealing with characters that are made up, stories that are made up. Sometimes they blur the lines between reality and non-reality, but to bring in personal shit that has nothing to do with people, then like that's where they're going to be crossing the line. And that's not journalism, because this isn't like, you know, going to a White House presser where like those questions will be accepted. This is still a business. It's still WWE. And you're still dealing with characters. In no way, like if WWE decided to do like an actual storyline from, you know, the people that got banned for asking stupid ass questions, then okay, yeah, we can have a conversation about that. But because ever since then, and all the legal stuff that has been dropped just because of Vince McMahon's name, because there has been no storylines directly about that, or even like a parody about that, you know, why are you asking that at a press conference? This is still an entertainment business. It's still a kayfabe business. But I don't think, I just think that Triple H is tired of the gossipers that want to do clickbait. The gossipers that want to do clickbait for the sake of doing clickbait because they know that they could get money off of pennies, rather than actually doing some work and actually asking some really good questions and helping progress storylines. But today's media in professional wrestling don't want to continue storylines. They want to get the latest scoop. They want to get the latest dirt on somebody. They want to get the latest clickbait on somebody. It's never about like, hey Bailey, how have you been lately? You know, tell me about your journey about recovering from, you know, knee injuries, and what advice would you give to people and stuff like that. Or, hey Bailey, you know, what do you prefer more, this or that, when it comes to wrestling? Or Bailey, what's the difficult thing that you had to really pivot in your life, in your whole entire career in wrestling? Like really smart questions, rather than like, you know, some gotcha questions of like, hey Bailey, is it true that you don't like Becky Lynch? Like those questions are really stupid to ask. And that's what wrestling media does. Wrestling media tries to pin people together. Wrestling media tries to get the best clickbait there is, so that way people could be like, see, I told you this person was a, you know, a POS or whatever, a piece of shit. You know, oh, I told you that this wrestler was this and that. And it's like, why is that needed? Why is any of that needed in professional wrestling when it's supposed to be about the stories, the characters, you know, progressing forward for the company? But I just don't, I don't think it's more on like being negative and all that.
This comes out, there's going to be even
Wait, what does that mean?
it's hard. It's like sometimes I think it's my that's what keeps me here, is because I don't go freaking kick the door down and be like, I'm not doing that. Why would I do that? I'm fucking Bailey. Like, why would I do that? You know, but I don't do that. I've whatever they give, and I've learned this from Cena. I've learned this from Ray. Whatever they give you is like, make it work.
Yeah.
So that's always like what I've tried to
Didn't I just say that? I just explained that.
do. And I'll come up with ideas. I'll come up with pitches. And I've learned that like sometimes if you get told whatever the creative is and you're not happy with it, and then I go and I say, hey, what if we do this instead? And then they say no. I feel worse after that than I felt with the original creative. So I'm just like, okay, how bad do I want to feel today? Like, or should I just accept what they gave me and then make it as best as I can? And then they'll be like, damn, she made that work. Like, let's go this way instead. And that does happen, especially with Hunter. Hunter, like really, it happened a lot with Damage Control. like if you look at like EO, how big EO got, you know, or like he was basing it off of how the crowd was reacting to us and how, you know, he would be like, this is what we're thinking, but let's just see how they react with this, you know? And then like the story would kind of change depending on, or it went on way longer than he expected it to. Like, I don't think this was supposed to go to Mania last year.
Yeah.
Excuse me, last year. So yeah, and that's like a fun process, but I think I went a little off the rails. One of the main things that I have learned in a book that I read was, it's called the what is it called? Laws of Agreement or something.
The Four Agreements?
Four Agreements.
Oh, I talk about
The
this book
Four
all the time.
Agreements, yes.
I love it.
Don't take
Oh my
anything
God.
personal.
Don't take anything personally.
That is like, and then there's impeccable with your word. What's the other one?
Always do your best.
Always do your best. And there's one other one, but the don't take anything personal is like literally what I live by.
Yeah.
It's not personal.
Don't make assumptions.
Yeah, don't make assumptions. But it's literally like, it's not personal because they're not putting me on the posters. They're not like, hey, take Bailey off. Like, let's just hurt her feelings a little bit. You know, like it's not personal.
Yeah.
It's not. And my ego will get over it, you know, like who cares? It's not personal. They're doing it because the marketing team thinks it's best, or because the fan base, or because of your merch set, like whatever it is. I don't care. It doesn't change. There's so much more to life that I've been learning this in the last couple of years. There's so much more to life, and life is so freaking short that I don't want to spend my time, especially my last few years here, like being upset or being like, man, I wish I was on the poster. I wish I had more TV time, or I wish I did this.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to look back and be like, dude, this is the coolest freaking thing ever.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm here.
I think, that's the end of it. Okay. So I hope that the ideas that I put forth help out. Because obviously she's not really upset about it. More people online are upset about Bailey than anybody else. And people don't understand because, again, the internet wrestling community are selfish. And when I say selfish, they are selfish. They think about themselves because they're like, oh my God, my favorite wrestler is like down in the dumps. Oh my God, my favorite wrestler this, my favorite wrestler that. And it's like, you have to do what's best for everybody in the situation and not what's best for the one wrestler. You know, if she's not on posters, if she's not doing this, if she's not doing that, that's totally okay. We still talk about Bailey. Bailey is still in conversations. Bailey is somewhere, you know. That's what happens after a while. She has so much stock that she's not going to get forgotten. She has adapted way more times than everybody else. You know, she's still going to be there. Her name is going to be through the rotation. But like I said, people in the IWC are very selfish when it comes to like their wrestlers and what they want. And it's like, you can't have that at all. So with that being said, I hope that like some of the concepts and ideas that I came up with, you know, WWE can use them. Anybody else can use them. Sometimes you have to really walk in there with confidence. Sometimes you have to really like just make your own table and make your own seat, and use social media to your advantage if like you want to feel like you're on top of the world like everybody else. And there's no harm in trying out and experimenting on like doing YouTube shorts or doing you know, a Substack live stream like I've been doing and seeing how that works, and then put it up on YouTube to get more feedback and more, you know, conversation going, you know. And I understand that like life is too short. She's learning about a bunch of other things. She's pivoting in her life and doing this, doing that and whatnot. But that doesn't mean that like, you know, if she can't do anything else. But yeah, I just thought that I'd comment on that because there are just ways in brainstorming to get her up there, to make her feel like she's like part of Becky and Charlotte, you know, kind of deal. But I really do think that it's because of like the way that they walk into a room and whatnot. And like I said, Bailey is humble. She is the girl that you rely on for certain things to happen. And that's a good skill in and of itself. There we go. That's what I wanted to say. That is a damn good skill in and of itself. To have that kind of loyalty, respect, and also, that kind of faith in her, that the company has. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed this little mini stream for about like 2 hours and 30 minutes. I will probably maybe review WrestleMania night 1 and 2 very quickly over at marieshadows.substack.com, but that will not be today. So if you're watching this on the VOD, go down to the comment section and sign up for free at the wrestling newsletter so that way you could be a part of listening to me and watching me review night 1 and night 2 and just give you my quick little thoughts about it. And most likely that will go up also on YouTube, but again, it's just strictly on marieshadows.substack.com. I want to give a huge shout out to Denisha for coming by and hanging out with me for the whole entire stream. Thank you so much. I want to give a huge shout out to Lucy. Lucy, thank you so much for becoming a member for the day one-ish, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you do not know, our memberships are $1.99 a month and also at $9.99 a month, which is the Tape Study Plus kind of deal. It is up to you, whatever you want to do, $1.99, $9.99, whatever is in your budget, whatever is in your wallet. Head over to youtube.com/Square Circle Podcast /join. Again, thank you so much, Lucy, for that. I do miss you guys, when I live stream and whatnot. I live streamed early because I do have some other errands to take care of during the night. During later on in the evening because it's already 4 p.m. right now. So yeah. marieshadows.substack.com for the live stream of me talking about WrestleMania night 1, night 2. Make sure to hit that subscribe button right here on youtube.com/Square Circle Podcast. Join the memberships and or send some super chats after the fact. Head over to Spotify or your favorite podcasting platform to find the Square Circle Podcast to listen to all previous podcast episodes. I do talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling, MOW, a little bit of AEW, a little bit of WWE, a little bit of everything because I just love professional wrestling. And make sure to hit that like button. And ladies and gentlemen, I will see you on the next one. And I had so much fun. Thank you for coming by. And I love you all. And shout out to social media, but for the next live stream, at Marie_Shadows over on Twitter. But yeah, all links to how you can support me further by like buying merch and other memberships will be down in the comment section below on the VOD and or description. So ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching an episode of the Square Circle Podcast by yours truly, Marie Shadows, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today.